With me today is Devil Scott on Stage Pass on WHRV. Howdy, Devil. How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
It looks like a nice peaceful morning where you are. I got to tell you, listening to your songs, you're kind of a throwback sound to me. You remind me of a sound. I was trying to think of what era that it sounds like you most fit in, because you definitely don't. How can I say this? You remind me.
Go ahead and say it. It's all right.
You remind me of the days of Tim Hardin and Tom Rush in Greenwich Village in the early '60s when folk was kicking off. You just can't. Your sound lends itself to that era. Is that? I was curious. Who were you influenced by when you started out?
Well, I guess originally I go a little bit further back. I grew up with Hank Williams Sr.
Okay.
Which led me to Woody Guthrie. It's probably one of my favorites.
Nice.
But as far as specifically my songwriting and what I do, I guess it was sort of the 70s era of songwriters, Townes and Guy Clark, people of that kind of era.
Yeah. So how long ago did you start playing? It was, and what really pushed you to those particular artists?
I started trying to play guitar, I guess over 20 years ago. But it was more, I guess I've always seen myself as more of a writer, songwriter, short stories and poetry and that kind of thing. And I picked up the guitar more or less as a vehicle for the things that I was writing. And I've always been, there's something magical about a song, a well-written song.
Yeah, there is.
And I guess I've always been sort of a song hunter. I'm always looking for the next one that I can dive into.
Yeah.
And once you start doing that, it doesn't take you long before you kind of end up in that folk scene, because they're some of the best songwriters,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And some of the best wordsmiths. I mean, that's what I love about it.
For sure.
And the song that we're going to hear from you today is something that's brand new, something that you're just putting out in the next few days, I guess?
It is. This is one I've been working on for off and on for 5 or 6 months, I guess. But then we recorded it not too long ago. And like I was telling you earlier, I finally finished mastering it last night. And I'm pretty pleased with how it came out. It's definitely a little, if you've ever seen me live, it's very stripped down, bare bones. And this is got a lot more weight to it, a lot more instrumentation to it. But I think it really turned out good. And the producer really maintained, what I was going for.
Yeah, where do you record, Devil?
So I got about half the album done so far, which I recorded at a small studio in North Carolina, where I'm from originally.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just a friend of a friend, but just a very talented producer. He does really a lot more jazz and more complex music than what I do.
Uh-huh.
But he had never done a folk album, and he was excited about the project and liked the songs. And so we just kind of dove in to see what would happen, and it turned out really well.
Great. Yeah, it really did. In fact, let's go ahead and let people listen to that now. The name of the song is A Drunkard's Prayer to No One. And when will this be available?
This is the first single from the album, and it'll be coming out. It's either late next week or the very beginning of the following week, but probably like next Friday, I think, is when it drops.
All right, that's awesome. All right, let's go ahead and listen to that now. This is Devil Scott on Stage Pass for WHRV.
If I can change it, let me change it. If I can't, let me know. I'll let it be, I'll let it fly, let it walk down the street and wonder why. But I swear I'll let it go. Beaten down so many times, I don't think he'll ever get enough. What does God take from me? Everything I love. I can't lean on mine, 'cause I don't understand a thing he does. What does God take from that, and let me know what I have to lose. The only things you won't take this old guitar and the mess I made, and those mean old lonely blues. Beaten down so many times, I don't think he'll ever get enough. What does God take from me? Everything I love. I can't lean on my, 'cause I don't understand the thing he does. What does God take from me? Everything I love. I don't know which way I'd go without the blinders and the reins. I'd like to turn down a different road, but I don't know their names. Beaten down so many times, I don't think he'll ever get enough. What does God take from me? Everything I love. I can't lean on my, 'cause I don't understand the thing he does. What does God take from me? Everything I love.
The other songs that you have played, I tell you what, the one that I really liked, I've got to go back to my notes. I really liked A Song Like That. And what you sent me was a demo version of that. Is that something that's also coming out on the new record?
That's one I'm still toying with. It is, I kind of like to put the demos out on YouTube and then see, how it goes, how it comes across. Sometimes I'm surprised. Sometimes it's a song I didn't think was very good and people love it, and vice versa. So,
Yeah.
I kind of like to put those demos out for feelers. But yeah, that one actually was a lot more popular than what I thought it was going to be. So it's definitely a contender.
Yeah, it's got a real good feel to it, and it just, I don't know, for whatever reason, it struck a chord with me when I listened to the other songs. I thought, man, I kept going back to that one, playing it over again.
Awesome.
So a very good song.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So where do you play around town, Devil?
I've been taking a little bit of a break recently because I am getting ready to make a move to Nashville, and kind of lining things up for that. And then also trying to finish things up on the album as much as possible between now and then. But I really, I don't play too often right here in Hampton Roads, or not as much as I would like to. My manager really keeps me on the road, and we've been this year to South Carolina, North Carolina, all over Virginia, the western part of Virginia, in the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, pretty much all over,
Yeah.
If they'll let me in the door with a guitar, I'll play there.
Now, you mentioned the move to Nashville, and you and I talked about the other day. Can you fill me in a little more on that again? That's a pretty significant happening for you.
It is. I'm really excited about it. So I had an opportunity over the summer to go to a writer's retreat in the Catskill Mountains. And the main host was Todd Snyder.
Nice.
Who, if you don't know, check him out. He's an amazing folk singer.
He is.
Been around for a long time, but and definitely one of my number one favorites. But anyway, I was able to meet him and his manager, hang out for a few days, and played them some of my songs, which they really liked. And they said, basically, get your ass down here to East Nashville, and when you do, give us a call.
Nice.
So that's what I'm doing.
That's awesome. And do you expect you'll be working with him in the studio there?
Well, I don't want to go so far as to say that. That would be something. I hope one day to be there, but if I can get him to come out and see me play a couple shows, I'll probably be satisfied with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, gosh, just having somebody like that in your corner, especially in a town like Nashville, because the competition
Sure.
there is through the roof, as you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and that's you can tell. Obviously, I'm not necessarily the contemporary Nashville style, and that's why I'm headed specifically to East Nashville, which is a little bit more of the folk Americana people. In my neck of the woods.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great town. I swear, you can hear a musician every 5 feet. It's just
Right.
unbelievable.
Yeah, I haven't been there in years. I went to see John Prine play at the Grand Ole Opry right before he died, New Year's
Really?
Eve. Yeah, just a couple months before he passed, and it was an amazing show, amazing weekend. Country Music Hall of Fame. I'd never been there before.
Yeah.
What a blast!
Gosh, and to see John Prine, that's
Yeah,
a bucket
it
list
was
item for a lot of people that they missed a chance on, because he was one of the best.
and I thought I was going to be one of those people. So I count myself very fortunate.
Yeah.
It was probably one of his last. It was his last performance at the Grand Ole Opry, but it was probably one of his last. Period.
Yeah, I still miss him. I do. He was
yeah.
just such a great writer.
Oh, yeah.
To me, I mean, he took Dylan and furthered it, if that's a right way to say it.
Right. No, I completely agree.
Yeah. Well, you'll be in the thick of things there, and you'll certainly get to meet your share of incredibly talented sidemen that are floating around that town as well.
And that's what I'm hoping too. I think I've always been a sucker for someone with a guitar and a great song, and that's it. I'm fine with that. But I know for a lot of people, they need a little more to kind of catch their interest, and fill it out. So I'm looking forward to meeting some other people that can help me do that.
Oh, I bet. Well, you will do it in Nashville, I'm sure, because like I said, the place is just crawling with musicians.
Right.
Some really great, talented people. I was there years ago, and I remember I think the bar was in the basement of the hotel I was staying in, and walked downstairs and heard the most incredible steel player I've ever heard in my life. And he was a young kid, looked like he was about 16 or 17 years old, and he was just tearing it up. So
Yeah.
I love that about Nashville and Memphis. Those two places to me
Right.
are some of my favorite music towns in the country.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Well, and it's a great. They really keep the tradition alive. Like you said, you see a great steel guitar player who's 16 years old. And it's like if you're not in that part of the world, if you're lucky enough to find a steel guitar player, he's going to need help getting to your house, or the studio or whatever. You know what I mean? People like that are unfortunately a dying breed. So,
Yeah.
I'm glad that there's some people who are still working to keep that tradition alive.
Yeah, and I would imagine it's been years since I've been to Nashville, but I just don't think the music scene ever dies there. It's not like what we're going through here, and I don't know how much of it was COVID related, but it just seems like we've gone into a real downturn as far as live venues in this area. It's kind of sad.
Right, and especially an interest in original musicians and songwriters.
Yeah.
There's largely around here. They if you're not going to play their favorite Steely Dan song, then they don't really care. They don't want to hear whatever you're going to play. So,
Yeah, and it's sad because it wasn't always like that. It's just
right.
I think there's been a thinning of the herd as far as venues goes in this area, and what's left is not quite as open-minded as what we had in the past. So maybe not a bad time to be making a move like this. And when do you expect to be heading to Nashville?
I set a deadline for myself, February 1st.
Yeah.
From hell or high water, February 1st, sunrise is going to find me in Nashville.
Yeah, so you're going to pack up everything and leave this part of the world behind for a while?
Yeah, as far as everything, most of it I'm going to throw away, probably. I'm trying to really go there, bare bones.
Yeah.
I got a backpack full of songs and a couple guitars and, a couple pairs of pants. Can't imagine I'll need much more than that.
Well, I just went through something like that myself recently, and I tell you what, when I opened the closet, I saw things in boxes I hadn't touched in years, and I thought, God, why have I even kept this crap? So it's
Right.
kind of cathartic to go through something like that.
It is. It has been, yeah. I'm
Great.
still in the process of it, but it already, I can feel the weight lifting.
Well, I wish you the best of success in your move to Nashville, and I hope you'll keep in touch with me and
Thank
let
you.
me know how things go there and what your progress is. And we'd certainly love to have you come back and talk to us about things once you settle in over there.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great,
Yeah, I'd
Devil.
love to do that.
Yeah. Well, we'll dive back in and listen to another song. I mentioned the one earlier that was my favorite. We're going to go ahead and pop into that one right now. And I've lost my train of thought. What's the name of the one that I like?
A song like that.
A song like that. That's right. All right. Thanks, Devil. I appreciate that. And how long ago did you write that one?
That one I wrote maybe about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really? So that's fairly new too, then.
Yeah, I generally write a song or two every week.
Do you
give or
really?
take.
Do you push yourself to do that? Do you kind of strive to write a certain amount of music?
I don't. I push myself to see it through once I start it.
Yeah.
But once I found the song, because usually what I tell people, I'll try to keep this short. I don't necessarily see myself as a person who writes songs, but I think I find them, in the way that an archaeologist finds bones.
Yeah.
So once I know that I've found the song, then I push myself to make sure that I find the whole song and find it correctly the way that it was meant to be found.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't, and not to say that I'm bragging, because it can be a bit of a pain sometimes, but I'm constantly writing songs. It never really stops. I'm working on 3 songs right now. I'm right in the middle of. So, it's just something that never stops.
Yeah. Do you start with a lyric idea, or do you start with a tune in your head? Which way do you?
Like I said, I've always seen myself as more of a writer, and so generally words come to me first.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I will get a melody just fooling around with the guitar, but I'm really not a guitar player. I try my best, but I'm not a very good guitar player. I'm still working on that. So generally what I've tried to do now is once I know that I found the song, I'll try to stop myself from writing too many words until I've found the melody, and then I'll go back to the words.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you've got a great style, and like I said, it's such a throwback to me to hear, and I really enjoyed it when I found you. I just thought, oh man, this is great, because you don't really hear that sound a lot anymore, and it was really refreshing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Once I discovered what folk music really was and what it means, I wanted that. I wanted to do that so badly, and now that I'm doing it, it's really an honor to me to be able to keep that tradition alive. I think folk music is just so important to our history as a people. It's the people's music, that's who it's for.
I should stick to writing songs about things I know. This one's about what I've watched come and go. Most songs I hear about breakups and fights. I need a song about losing the love of my life. I know we said goodbye, but I didn't really want to. Wanted to say hello all over again, all over you. I need a song to carve her memory out of my heart. I need to make some room since we fell apart. My love took the morning train down a one-way track. I need a song just like that. I need a song just like that. I've lost you, now I'm losing my mind. Talking to your pillow all the time. Everything I do, I'm supposed to do with you. But too much was done between us, I can't undo. Need a song to carve her memory out of my heart. I need to make some room since we fell apart. My love took the morning train down a one-way track. I need a song just like that. Need a song just like that.
My thanks to Devil Scott for sharing his music with me this week. This episode of Stage Pass has been brought to you by the Jones Art Gallery, located in the Virginia Beach Town Center at 184 Central Park Avenue. If you're enjoying our podcast, please like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/stagepass.whrv. And you can find all of our interviews on our website, which can be found at stagepass.us. I'm Michael Monahan, and I thank you all for spending a little time with me.